The exclusivity of iMessage is past its prime. Hello everybody, I had a thought for the day and I didn't want to just keep it to myself or put it in my phone, so I decided to make a video about it. iMessage solves a problem that no longer exists. Let me explain what I mean. So if you are one like me that started having an iPhone, an iPhone 4 when Verizon finally got it. I was just graduating high school. I had an iPhone, I think a 5C and like a 6 in my college years. If you remember those days, service was much worse than it is now, not nearly as full coverage. 4G LTE was still very, very new in the same way that 5G is now. So a lot of times you were running on 3G or 1X. 3G service was better, but because now they've taken down half the modems and it's way worse than it was at the time, but it was still pretty bad. And not everyone had free text messages. That's unheard of now, but the whole trope of like, oh, the kid goes over their data, like that at the time between the years of 2007 and like 2015 were, the high school girl that wants to text all of the boys at once and they, I don't know, just run up the bill or, whatever. A lot of times it'd be between 5 and 20 cents each way. So it'd be 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, like it really, really racks up quickly. So iMessage intervened. I believe it was released with iOS 6, correct me if I'm wrong, and said, in exchange for buying an iPhone, you will now be able to text people with other iPhones. Even if you don't have texting, even if you have to pay for your texting, you will not have to pay for iMessage because it is sent over data. That's a double solution because if it's sent over data, it can also be sent over Wi-Fi. So if I, like, for example, when I was in college in 2015, I believe, I had an iPhone 6 and I had Sprint on my family's plan and it was garbage where I was. My dorm room didn't have any service, so I was forced to use their Wi-Fi. But I could still message my friends because of iMessage. I was able to bypass that. I didn't have to rely on SMS and the trash Sprint network at the time. So the exclusivity of iMessage is past its prime. And I'm aware that, Apple can do whatever they want and they are not entitled to give you iMessage on Android and they own the product. And I know all those things and all those things are true. Yeah, whatever. I'm not saying Apple should be forced to bring iMessage to a non-iPhone device, but I'm saying that there's no exchange anymore. If I'm going to go spend $1,000 on an iPhone, which again, iPhones did not cost that much at the time. I think the iPhone 4 was $400 and the 6 was like $700. So still high, but not nearly as high as a $1,200 iPhone 15 Pro Max or, $800 for a kid's phone, like that sort of thing. The exchange of if you buy an iPhone, you don't have to pay for text messages, you can text over Wi-Fi, was a good exchange. That was an actual feature of the phone that did not exist on any other platform. So therefore innovation. So you were, in exchange for buying an iPhone, you were getting innovation, which is the whole point of what Apple is. Now it's, if you buy iPhone, you get Blue Bubble, or you get iMessage because iMessage cool. Like that's not a good exchange. Since I can get the features of iMessage through another app that can be downloaded on an iPhone, even though iPhone people for some reason find it really, really difficult to download other apps, that is no longer a good exchange. It's past its prime. That's what I mean. Every device, every carrier, including prepaid carriers, now has Wi-Fi calling, which means Wi-Fi SMS as well. Wi-Fi video calling, there's Facebook Messenger video calling, there's Snapchat video calling, there's Telegram, there's Signal, there's so many kinds of messaging now that have been either imported from another country. I know Signal is based somewhere else. I forget exactly where, not in the US. It's so much easier to message people now that iMessage is not a feature. It is a feature of iPhone, but it is not a feature that should be gaining you a new customer. In the same way that if Google bought Telegram and was like, you should buy our phone because we have Telegram now, that's not a good enough reason to switch a phone. You know what I mean? That we're past the point where fancy messaging, I mean, that's like early 2010s, like selling point. We are very far beyond that by now. So whether or not Apple ever brings iMessage to Android, I think they will have to at some point. Whether or not someone forces them is not really the question. It's whether or not I foresee Apple within the next 10 years or so becoming more like Microsoft, where, yeah, they're a power player. They make Windows, like everyone uses it. It's the biggest thing there. Like it's Word, it's all that other stuff. But they're like charging licenses for it, and it's kind of seen as like, if someone's like a high energy Microsoft lover, usually they're like middle-aged, 45 to like 65, because like Microsoft was like the big thing in like the early 90s. I think that's how Apple is going to be because of their exclusivity. If they opened it up as Docs has, as Google Maps has, I mean, there are others too, like MapQuest and Yahoo, and like there's other stuff besides Google, but they're just not quite as popular. That's why I'm, not bringing them up. Facebook, Amazon. Imagine if you could only shop on Amazon on an Amazon tablet. Yeah, they would sell more Amazon tablets, but their customer base would be smaller, believe it or not. I don't know if that would be the same thing with iPhone, or if it would work the other direction, because now you can have the better quality hardware on a phone, which is really any high-end Android phone with the same price as an iPhone, and your great messaging too. So all that to say, just to recap, Apple does not owe you an iMessage for Android app, but they may owe it to themselves, because the innovation that they're coasting on from 2010, 2012 is not cutting it today. I know it keeps people locked in, but the more you keep people locked in a rotting fence, the more decrepit and broken down the fence becomes, the more people are just gonna leave and escape. And I'm not saying iMessage is being decrepit, but I'm saying that the old man trying to get you to stay, don't leave the house, it's dangerous out there, kids, like that sort of thing. The Apple's gonna become more and more that, trying to hold people all in and like hold sand in their fingers and keep people in, if they don't continue to update with the times, which is more universal profiles, universal communication. That's just what people want. It's kind of what people, even iPhone people, I'm not saying this is an Android person, I'm saying that even my iPhone friends are like, this is dumb, I don't know why I can't send you a voice message over text. And I'm like, well, ask Apple. Anyway, in conclusion, iMessage fixes a problem that no longer exists, because we have unlimited text messages, we have great data now, as opposed to earlier on we didn't, and we have so many other great services that match the greatness of iMessage. You just have to download an app that is really not a good exclusive perk anymore to a phone. It's like saying like, the exclusive perk that my phone has is a camera. Okay, great. Every phone has a camera. Every phone has Wi-Fi calling. Every phone has the ability to download any app you want. Facebook Messenger, Telegram, Signal, anything. So that's my point. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.